Hi food friends! Welcome to My Queer Kitchen in Brooklyn, Nova Scotia. I am Jennifer Crawford and today we are going to be making pastry for cream puffs. For this recipe, you will need 1 cup of flour, 4 eggs, half a cup of butter, half a cup of water, and half a cup of milk. And then you can add salt and sugar just to your taste. And I have added 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of sugar. But you don't have to do that. You can always make these savory if you would prefer, just by omitting the sugar entirely. So this pastry is what is usually used in things like cream puffs or eclairs or like a whole bunch of other desserts. And it's a really good base recipe. So in the fall of 2014, I had just gone through a really brutal breakup and went to Paris by myself, where I meant to eat a lot of things, but mostly I ate a lot of cream puffs. And when I got home, I was really determined to figure out how to recreate those in my own kitchen. They're the most nourishing and special thing that you can make for yourself. And once you've done it a couple times, you'll see how much of a total breeze it can be. That's the true story. End of relationships are always hard, and yeah, pastry always helps. So, self-care. Something that's great about this recipe is that there are so few dishes, which I love, and all you need is 1 big pot and a nice big wooden spoon. And what you're gonna do is, first of all, you're going to add all of the milk into the pot and all of the water. You're gonna put in that nice big chunk of butter, half a cup, and you're going to add in the salt and the sugar. And then you're gonna bring this up to medium high until it's at like a rolling boil. Like lots and lots of bubbles, lots and lots of melty, bubbly action. And that usually takes like 2 or 3 minutes. This is what you want, very enthusiastic bubbling. Very enthusiastic, very big drama. I'm gonna turn off the heat, and then in a dramatic flourish, all the flour, all at once, and then you stir like mad. It will look at first like it's just kind of like lumpy and not coming together, and then you just keep going and keep going, and it starts to like turn into this lovely dough. There we go. Okay, now that it's here, this is a good state for it to be at. You see, like it's kind of like come together. It doesn't stick if I press it with the back of the spoon. I'm going to turn the heat to low. And now I'm gonna cook this for 3 or 4 minutes. Something that's really special about this dough, I think, is that there aren't any leaveners to it. Like this is all really like heavy stuff, like flour, butter, milk, eggs, and it's the steam itself that makes the cream puffs puff. So you just like keep stirring the whole time, and you'll see it'll start all coming together like in one nice smooth ball basically, and then you just kind of keep mashing it with the back of your spoon and going for that full 3 or 4 minutes. You'll see when it's done, it almost starts like peeling away from the side of the pot and kind of falling back in on itself. It should, once it's finished, be able to hold up like a spoon if you were to stick it, in it. Okay, so this is done. It is looking great. It smells like kind of toasty butter, toasty flour, and is nice and thick. Whoa, will this stand up? Let's see. This is a pretty big spoon. Yeah, we'll call that close enough. Now we're going to add the eggs one at a time. Add the egg, stir it like mad, and then make sure it's all incorporated, and then you can add your next egg. Okay, so here's one. The thing with adding the eggs, it'll have a moment where I'm gonna turn the heat off now. It's going to have a moment, because you don't want to cook the egg. It's going to have a moment where it looks like it's not going to come together, and then it does. It is really important to turn the heat off before you start adding the egg, because otherwise the egg will cook right in the dough. Because I had the heat so low, that's not happening here at all. If you're worried, you can always just leave it for 5 minutes before adding the eggs as well, if you don't want to run that risk. You're like, oh, is that really going to get incorporated? I don't know. But then it does. If you just keep stirring. Yeah, see, it all eventually comes together. There we go. Now, if you have a stand mixer and you'd rather do that, this is totally something that can happen. You can take the cooked flour mixture and add it to the mixer bowl and get the eggs in that way using the paddle attachment. But I don't know, I kind of just I like the manual version sometime. It feels nice and analog. So that's 3, and one more. Okay. The last egg, when you add that, it turns almost it almost looks like cheese curds to me, the way it kind of separates, but then you just keep stirring and then it comes back together. And this is a good way to get a really good pompon also. Now this part, you just want to give it a really, again, super enthusiastic stir. Yeah, man, this feels like cardio. Okay. And I want to show you what it'll look like. So it's nice and it falls down almost in sheets from the spoon. I want to stir this a little bit longer, but just so you have a sense of what it should be looking like at this point, a nice thick paste. I don't like calling things easy, I guess, just because I feel like my greatest barrier to literally anything is just getting started and having all the ingredients in and having enough of a clean kitchen to do things that I'm making anything is actually kind of a challenge. So mega props. This is ready. Yeah, okay, so when it kind of hangs like that and it's almost translucent in some bits, you can see through it and it's still hanging. Another way I kind of test is I'll get a little bit on my finger and then just see how much it sticks together. You'll get to know this as you do it a few times. And it's if it hangs together right until you can even see through it a bit, then you're ready to go. Okay, I'm actually just gonna go wipe this off of my hands. This is thick enough that you could use just a spoon to spoon it onto parchment, onto a baking sheet. What I like to do is use a piping bag just for ease of making it all nice and uniform and you have a bit more control. So this is how I fill my piping bag. You fold it down really nice and far because this is a very, very sticky dough. It was oh my gosh, the first time I tried to do this, I didn't know about folding down the bag and it was a big old mess. Anyway, I have learned. Here we go. Big spoonful in there. Let's do 2 big scoops just so we have lots to work with. So that's about half the batter. The other half is still in the pot there. Here we go. There we go. And I've snipped off at the bottom just about 1.5 centimeters across of an opening. When I was first learning how to do these, I would use an 1.5 inch round and trace onto the parchment just to give myself a bit of a guide. You might want to do that. You totally don't have to. I just am gonna kind of eyeball this. I make mine, it depends on what I'm making them for, but I like them big. So I'm gonna do these 2 inches across and then they will puff up a whole bunch in the oven. So you want to leave at least 2 inches in between each of the cream puffs. So here we go. There we go. Okay, oh my gosh, they're so cute. I know, they're little kisses. They're so cute. And something that I like to do at this point is get a little bit of water and I tap down their hats just to make it nice and uniform. I think I have a bit of water left in here. Yeah, I do. Okay. So I just give it a little pat. This water as well will help develop that steam that I was talking about to help them rise up and go super puffy right away as well. You can even throw a few drops onto the tray itself to help create that nice steamy environment. There is a 2-part baking system for this. You just crank your oven to about 450, and what I do is I keep it at 450 for the first 5 minutes to really make that steam like pop, pop, like really pop, and then I turn it down to 350 and let it go for another 25 minutes. At that point, I keep an eye. Sometimes I take it out right away. Sometimes I might give it another 5 minutes or so, depending on how brown or not they are. But in total, between 30 and 35 minutes, make sure that first 5 minutes is really cranked to like 450. I'm going to put these in the oven. Here are the baked pastries. So once you've baked your cream puffs, you can take them sweet or savory. You can do anything you want at this point. Traditionally, they're filled with just lightly sweetened cream, whipped cream, which I'm going to use a little bit of. Also, I just happen to have some pastry cream that I made yesterday out of some really sweet corn that our local farmer gave us. So it's going to be like buttery and corny and then crispy this on the outside. Other things that I've done is I've filled it with chicken salad. You can pipe them in through the bottom if you like. That way they just are like a surprise filling. Or what we're going to do right now is you can cut them in half and make it like tall and dramatic and beautiful. Yeah, so they're like nice and hollow and crispy, and lots of room to fill it with yummy, yummy stuff. Yeah, it feels satisfying to do when you like open them and they're like, like steam just feels like magic. Like this feels like magic to me. Baking is never not gonna feel like total magic. How did this happen? How did this go from paste to delicious, puffy, crispy, buttery thing? I didn't even mean to have pastry cream for this. I'm just really excited that I do at this point, and I just got a bit like choked up about it. I'm pretty excited. Just as a reminder, you can fill this with literally anything that you like. And like whatever you happen to have around. Whipped cream is like, you can't go wrong. You could fill it with ice cream, like most structurally and deliciously perfect ice cream sandwiches, because these are crispy enough that you still get like the crispy bite, but soft enough that it is not going to squish anything out the sides. To me, there is like no better vehicle for ice cream. So what I'm gonna do, this is a bit of the corn pastry cream that I was talking about. I'm gonna put a little bit of that in the bottom. Okay, maybe kind of a lot actually. It's like increasing with every one that I do. Yeah, okay, now I have to add a bit more to the first one. Okay, there, that's a bit more even. However much the bottom will take is what I will put in. Didn't even mean to do that. I have some very lightly sweetened whipped cream. I used 3/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream and added just a tablespoon of sugar, so just like very, very light sweetness. And I have my piping bag fitted with a star tip to make like extra dramatic swoops. Because I mean, who doesn't love a dramatic swoop? Here we go. I start all the way around the outside and then just work my way into the middle. Okay. Oh, there's a whole bunch left. Okay, so let's just try and use it all on this guy, because why not? Let's see how big we can make it. Okay, extra juicy. Okay, and then the only thing left to do is put their hats back on. Oh, this one is very juicy and tall. This is it. We have made cream puffs filled with corn pastry cream and a lightly sweetened whipped cream. And the only thing left to do is to chow down. Something that is lovely about this pastry is how buttery, and light and crispy it becomes, and it's all through the magic of steam and heat. Crispy, creamy, salty, sweet, crunchy, soft. All of the juxtapositions you could possibly want. This has been Jennifer Crawford from My Queer Kitchen making cream puffs. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And until the next time, have fun, stay safe, and eat really good.